Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Sunny. Sunny. Now, Sunny and Jason have been among my favorite characters. Particularly Sunny since, he is the one that's still here. Been one of my favorite characters. But with that being said, I can't sit there and just overlook this glaring problem that Sunny just can't grasp. For some odd reason, apparently the writers are just like, nope, we're just going to have him be kind of slightly stupid. Okay? Sonny is just glaring over the fact that all he does in this scene with Nina, more or less, is make excuses for why he didn't tell Carly. Oh, I didn't tell him because of Jason's death, and then I didn't sit there and tell him because Sasha and Brando's baby, and there just wasn't enough time, and blah 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 blah. That's what it is. It's just lies. It's just excuses, just lies and excuses, to try to justify. Let's be honest, him being a coward, and I don't really understand what he was so afraid of. I mean, it's one thing if he just developed feelings for her. There was nothing medically wrong. He just developed feelings for her. Okay, fine. Cool. I get it. I understand why you'd be nervous, why you would think that something would happen. But you literally had amnesia. You had among the greatest alibis you can possibly get. Not that I'm like encouraging that sort of stuff, but you had one of the greatest alibis you could possibly get. And somehow you said, nah, screw it, I'll just tell her never, pretty much. Honestly, tell you the truth, by the time he got to Port Charles the day after, is when I knew that he was not going to tell Carly, he was not going to tell Carly what happened in Nixon Falls between him and Nina. Him and Nina. And every single day that he didn't do it, I was just sitting there like, bro, really? Really? I know we're supposed to be on this whole, guy code and, bros protect bros. But I was like, yo, listen, I can't co-sign that. Okay? I can't co-sign that. And every day that he didn't sit there and tell her is every day that I was like, bro, when this happens, I'm going to sit back with a giant bag of cheese doodles or something, and I'm going to enjoy the show. And I'm not going to feel sorry for you at all. And what is he doing now? He is drinking himself into oblivion. And I'm sitting there looking like, bro, you seriously? You still just knocking him back. Everyone's had rough times, but the thing with me is that I really do not like hangovers. And every time I get a hangover, I always sit there and say, I'm just not going to sit there and drink anymore. I'm not going to do it until the next time I do it. But my point is, there's been times where I had to sit there and just slow down because I knew that as much fun as I was having, I knew that I was going to feel icky the next day. And that's what Nina kept sitting there saying. Sonny was like, no, well, I'm a big boy. I brung this. If I get a headache, I brung this on myself. You sure did, buddy. You sure did. He goes through memory lane because he said he bought the place in 1994. This looks almost exactly to my recollection, my memory a little bit, that this was the place that I saw when him and Tamara, the woman that plays Ava now, used to be Carl. Or at least sort of like that. And he tells the story about, his nightclub and Stone and, all that other stuff. But then he lashes out at her, and then she's like, all right, you know what, listen, I don't know how to help you, so I'm going to leave. No, wait. Now, as everyone knows, I do not like Nina, okay? But, bro, can you just pick a side? Either you want her to leave or you want her to stay. If you want her to stay, maybe you shouldn't be sitting there putting all of this on her. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to smoke, but you're just as guilty as her. I mean, you're somewhat just as guilty as her because you didn't tell her the truth. You didn't tell Carly the truth. So stop putting all this on her and then lashing out at her after she decides to drop you off, which she didn't actually have to do. Yes, I'm not going to sit there and ignore the stuff that what she's done to Sunny and her family. Because at this point, everyone already knows I don't like her. But as much as I don't like her, really don't like her. Bro, you can't sit there and lash out. This is on you at this point, boo boo. Okay, this is on you. Okay, I get you. You want to be upset with her, but don't use her as an emotional punching bag because you couldn't be bothered to man up and well, do what you needed to do, point blank. So that scene was something. And of course, you got Carly and Drew at the bridge, and they talk about Jason, and at the end of the day, when they finish with that, Drew's like, listen, I'm not Jason, but I would like to sit there and listen if I can. Just to do something good for Jason, just to do something good for her. But, for reasons, she's just like, I can't do it. You go your way, I go mine. I'm like, okay. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to help, but sure, Carly, you got this, boo. You do you. Um, so he's like, all right, I'm around if you need me. And he doesn't take offense to it, so he just leaves. And then she looked like she's about to say something, but he's gone. So, like, I guess you could just kind of continue hanging out at the bridge by yourself. At night, with no bodyguards, knowing that you are married to a very powerful crime boss. Yeah, no, this is a totally smart idea. Yeah. And I know Sonny should have been doing the same thing instead of just kind of at the bar, just kind of hanging out. But he's a big boy, like everyone says, so he can figure it out himself. Oh, you know what? I might also say this now because I feel like I'm gonna forget at some point in time. So, Kristen Storm has COVID, and I wish her a speedy recovery. I I know she'll be fine. I know she'll be fine. Listen, if this woman handled brain surgery and came back to work, she's good. So I have the most utmost faith in her recovering from this whole thing. Um, but it's just kind of interesting that they talk about Jason and Kristen may be out for a little bit because she got COVID. Now I don't know if she got the vaccine or not, but this just kind of brings up a point, and I can see both sides of it, and I don't really want to sit there and I generally sit there talking about this topic because everyone's very divided and I get it, but you know, everyone's talking about Jason's death. He's dead, yada yada yada. And we know he's not dead. We know that Steve decided to not bend a knee and do something that he didn't feel what was in his best interest. Um, and listen, I got my vaccine, but I can't sit there and push somebody else to do something that they're not ready to do. But this is one of those things where it's like, all right, now you got a co-star that might have got the vaccine, still got COVID, and yet you practically told somebody to kick rocks if you don't do what we say, and it's like what are we doing? You know, there's no right answer to this, and I know one of my subscribers and one of my friends actually said something that was kind of interesting, which I I'm having a hard time translating to how does this have to do with ABC's decision or Disney's decision to let Steve Burns go. And this is the whole, well, when we were younger, we had to take vaccines in order to go to school. Um, we had to take vaccines in order to go to school. But I kind of got to sit there and look at this a little bit and be like, well, did those vaccines help us protect us from getting said viruses? Because if so, cool. If not, then that doesn't really, and even if it did, let's just sit there and say it did. What does that have to do with Steve Burns' case or Steve Burns' case? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Steve, you know what I'm talking about. What does that have to do with his case as far as him not choosing to take the vaccine? Because, like, I, that doesn't equate. I mean, if somebody got anyway, my point is, it just made me think about that, and I get it. It's a business decision, and you either do what they say, or otherwise you got to go. I understand it from their point of view, but to be fair, it's not right. And if I'm going to be honest, sometimes with those arguments, the science doesn't always support the reasoning for why they're doing what they're doing. You know, so it just sucks all around, and it just made me think about that because Britt and Austin was even sitting there talking about Jason for a little bit, or no, Britt and Victor were talking about Jason for a little bit, and I was just like, that just makes me mad because it's not like with Nathan, he chose to leave. This actor didn't choose to leave. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about that because I knew I was going to forget it or just be like, all right, well, it's almost over, so let's just not really get into it. It's like, nope, let's do it now while I'm fresh. Anyway, Victor goes to see Peter and gets stopped by Britt, and they exchange words back and forth. And Victor tries to get under his skin by talking about Jason and what Peter did. And at some point, when Austin's sitting there checking on Peter, he wakes up. Like his fingers moves, and then he fully wakes up. So he wants to sit there and talk to Victor. Victor gets in there, and Peter's well. At this point, you've been watching the show long enough. Peter acts like Peter. You betrayed me. Da 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 da. Okay, bro. Like, really? Did y'all not betray each other? Aren't y'all both like? It's almost as though it's like two villains are sitting there getting upset with each other because one betrayed the other. It's like you're villains. Like, really, really? You almost seem like you're hurt. Are you hurt? So he's like, you betrayed me, and Victor's like, you betrayed me first, but you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. We're villains. This is what we do. Here's the thing. I can help you out. But you got to give me what I want. And pretty much what he wants is he wants control of Drew. Because why not at this point? So he wants control of Drew. And in exchange, he'll sit there and protect him. He's like, oh, listen, clock's running out. We have a lot of time, and this person tried to kill you once. Let me try to do it again. So what do you say? But before he really gets to talk to him, finalize any deals, Mac comes over because Mac gets a call from Britt saying that, Peter's woken up. Now, earlier, Felicia and Anna were, pretty much discussing if they're friends or not because of the whole Peter thing. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, it's 2022. How about we just, you know, let's just try to find Maxie's baby, even though Maxie doesn't want that because Maxie's just like, no, I believe that the baby's going to be found. Maxie, you have two capable women that seem like they want to help find your child, and you're telling them no because you just believe that everything's going to work out because reasons. Yeah, no, that's totally not sus. Nope, no, that totally makes sense. Um, anyway, they get a call to the hospital. They get down there, and Max is just like, so what is Peter's prognosis? What can you tell me about him? Is he awake? Yada yada yada. I'm like, Maxie, Didn't your idiotic dingbat friend just try to get him in trouble for violating HIPAA? And you rush up to him with a bunch of questions. Because, because, like, anyway, I guess he tells her some stuff, and then he's all like, "Oh, I vow to make sure that he doesn't harm you again," and yada yada yada. Now, what that means is I have no idea, but if there is a murder mystery of Peter, then yeah, I don't know. It makes me when I sit there and say it, it makes me it brings me back to One Life to Live when they killed off one of my favorite characters just to bring him back as a twin. Um, Colin, because he was the big bad, and everyone was like, who did it? So it just makes me think of that if they decide to go that route, but I doubt they will because well, Peter just brings too much fun into the game, so into the show. So I doubt they're gonna sit there and kill him off. And plus, he's going out with Laura Wright, and apparently she has enough sway to keep him there. Um, well past the point of it just not making any sense anymore. I mean, this guy literally fell down a flight of steps. And then you see him, next time you see him, he's just casually walking in with some nice suede shoes, like nothing ever happened. So, yep. After Laura talks to Mac about Cyrus and everything like that, talks about Victor for a little bit, tells Kevin that she wants to use Valentine to get info out of Victor because Valentine's a good father, and um, maybe the dangers of Victor being around Charlotte will probably be enough to make him side with Laura. And Kevin's like, "Do you think that's gonna happen? You think they're gonna sit there and betray each other?" And she's like, "That's what I'm counting on." Now, towards the end of the episode, they're back at their place and they're about to play mattress tag. And then Tracy comes in, and Tracy's like, "Luke is dead," and I'm just like, what? What are we doing? Like, it's just kind of odd. If their decision is to kill off Luke off camera, it's just like, why? Why are we doing something like this off camera? Like, always hated that. I've always hated when they killed off characters off camera. You know, either because they didn't like the person or whatever reason, they were just like, "Nah, we're just gonna come off camera." It sort of reminds me of Patrick Drake's crazy lover who wound up getting killed off camera. No, 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 no. Because she sort of got killed off camera, but not really. It was by that. No. Who is the person that Michael? Yeah, Michael. Michael was going out with that woman. I can't remember what her name is, but he was going out with her. He was talking to her on the phone. Next thing you know, she got killed off camera. And I remember her doing an interview in Soap Opera Digest talking about this was her last day. Just walking in. And I'm just kind of like, oh, damn. I mean, did they really just not like her that much where they were just like, what, we're just not even going to bother to have her show up? We'll just kill her off camera and that'll just be that. They've done that a few times. They've done that with her. They've done that with a really, really hot woman named Summer, who Lucky was going out with. They killed her off camera. And so I don't understand why they bothered to kill him off camera. Like, why even bring him into this at all? I don't really understand the reason why, but Tracy's there and she was like, "Yep, Luke is gone," and she starts bursting into tears, and I'm just like, Luke has been so called dead so many times, and yet he's come back. But Tracy says something once and doesn't even go into a full reason why, and you're just about to burst into tears. As many times as this man defied death like there was no tomorrow, I'm just gonna whoosah that. I'm just gonna just whoosah that on out. Alexis winds up meeting Harmony um, at Charlie's. I don't know what Alexis thought she was doing by going to Charlie's to look at a bunch of alcohol and then just like I don't really understand what she was doing. She grabbed a drink and then she was like, toast to everyone. And then Harmony gets there. And then Harmony gives Alexis some tough love. Um, saying that you need to stop relying on other people to stop you from drinking. You need to sit there and do this yourself. Um, because basically she was like, you only went to Charlie's in order to find Christina to stop you from drinking, so this way somebody could be in charge of you. And what happens tomorrow? Because she was giving tough love, and Alexa's like, well, wow, really? And Harmony explained like, yo, listen, when I was at Dawn a Day, we made up a bunch of these mantras and nice things and stuff like that, and that's all they are. At the end of the day, we kind of need to sit down and be responsible for ourselves. Apparently, it worked. And Harmony got there. Harmony was upset because Willow didn't bother to call, text, say Happy New Year or anything like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting a little frustrated of Willow and Harmony's relationship up until the point where I damn near just don't care. Because I look at this whole thing and I'm like, 1 minute Willow's like, okay, maybe we could sit there and try to be friends. Next minute is Wiley's birthday party and she shows up and she looks at her like, what are you doing here? And then towards the whole, I think the last time they saw each other, she decided to take the Christmas gift and was like, we'll set up a time so that way you can see your grandchild. And now you don't sit there and bother to text, call, or anything like that for New Year's. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's such a flaky relationship that you get to a point where it's just like, ugh, like Willow. I can't some days with her. Anyway, it seemed like they have a good chat, but in some ways they kind of part off, in this bittersweet thing, in this bittersweet, um, this bittersweet goodbye. And by the way, I don't think they're talking about this back and forth and Willow being hot and cold 1 minute or the next. Let's just keep in mind that Harmony, you know, after cheating on her husband, and I don't know if it was killing him or something, decided to give Shiloh, you know, like Harmony practically delivered Shiloh, Willow to Shiloh to do God knows what to her. And you just sat back and just let it happen, knowing what kind of man he is, knowing what he did. So this is why I partly sit there and look at this whole situation and be like, if Willow wanted to tell Harmony to kick rock for good, I would be totally okay with that. It's the back and forth that I have issue with. Um, anyway, they part off on this bitter sort of farewell kind of thing. Um, and I know here's the thing. I know some people are just like some people want them to be friends. Some people want them to be more than friends. Um, I just look at this whole thing now. As far as the being more than friends, it's really bad for me to sit there and say. But I'm going to sit there and I'm going to take the actors out of the characters 1 minute. If they were together, not having the history that they had, I would be okay with it. I would be really okay with it because despite my feelings about Alexis sometimes, despite my feelings about Harmony as individuals as far as how they look, yeah, no, I'd be like so okay and whatever scenes that they decide to get into. And I'm trying to say this without being very pervy, but I think you know where I'm going with it. But as characters, I just feel like they just have too much. Well, they have one thing that I just feel that I don't understand how she can get past. I don't understand how she can get past the fact that Harmony was practically either drugged Sam um and Christina or had a hand in it, knowing that Charlotte was going to be doing things without their consent. Knowing that she had a hand in that. I'm like, Alexis, could you really sit there and be friends with her? Like, seriously? Could you even be, like, not even just more than friends, but could you even sit there and look this person in the face and be like, nah, that's cool. Now, I get that she did a lot of stuff to help out the cause, and she was, she was imperative as far as bringing down Shiloh. And that's good and that's great, and she served her time. But there are certain things that I feel is unforgivable, and I feel that her having a hand in what Shiloh's going to do without consent is on that line of, well, unforgivable. So I'm not for it for that reason. Um, yeah, just nope. No, 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 no. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's pretty much about it. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. This was like 5, 6 minutes past the time that I normally try to do it towards, but I feel like there was kind of a lot to cover. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.